Okay.
Okay. Back with another podcast, whatever you want to call it. We are today going to review college football week 2, preview week 3, and review NFL week 1, preview week 2. So let's get right into it because we got a lot to cover. And so this past weekend in college football, it was the first weekend where there was where it was just Saturday. And trust me, it's fine by me. I don't mind that at all. Some people do, but I don't mind it at all. And if we look at week 2, just some of the big hits from week 2, Ohio State very easily handling Cincinnati. Some people thought they'd have a difficult time with them. They didn't. They won. Michigan, on the other hand, Army took Michigan to double overtime in the Big House. So that was huge when that happened. Michigan dropped 3 spots in the AP top 25 because of that. Unranked Maryland destroyed number 21 ranked Syracuse. Syracuse is now dropped out of the rankings compared to Maryland, who is now number 20. Maryland won 63-20. Number 1 Clemson won 24-10 with number 12 Texas A&M. Trevor Lawrence not looking the same as many expected. Hopefully he can turn around before the season gets into the full grind. Unranked Colorado beating number 25 ranked Nebraska in a rivalry game into overtime. It was a great game. Number 6, the big one, number 6 LSU at the time is now number 4. If the season ended today, LSU would be in the playoffs, and it's because of this game. Beating, at the time, number 9 ranked Texas on the road. They won 45-38. Joe Burrow, the quarterback for LSU, looked outstanding. Looked like a Heisman quarterback. Okay, it looked like the Heisman winner this year. Joe Burrow, quarterback LSU. I don't think he's going to be the Heisman winner, but in Austin, he looked like he looked like the Heisman winner. And LSU could be undefeated going into Tuscaloosa. By the way, they have a relatively easy schedule. I believe they have to play Florida, but besides that, they have to play Florida. Okay, but they get to play Northwestern State, Vanderbilt, Utah State, Florida, Mississippi State, and Auburn. So you have Auburn and Florida. But if you can beat Auburn and Florida both at home, you could go undefeated on November 9th versus going into Tuscaloosa, which is they have 3 tough games in 4 weeks: Florida, Auburn, Alabama. Only one on the road. So LSU could definitely be a playoff team. Don't be surprised. And number 14 at the time, number 14 ranked Washington. They are now number 23, I believe. Lost to Cal on a last-second field goal. The game ended around 3 a.m. in the East Coast. The reason I know this is because I was up watching it because I have no life. So I was watching Cal and Washington, and Cal won 2019. The Pac-12 is going to be very interesting because it's not a playoff conference, but it has a lot of good teams, like a lot of good 8-9 win teams, and just no clear-cut favorite and no playoff team. But there's a lot of good 8-9 win teams in that conference. So there should be some good games if you like to stay up late. And then USC won 45-20 over Stanford, and USC is now ranked again. Stanford fell out of the rankings after a win to Northwestern. Then they lose to USC. So, looking at week 3. Oh, and just a little local thing. Penn State won 45-13 last week versus Buffalo. Pitt won, I believe 20-10, to Ohio, and Temple had a bye. So, now looking at week 3, the preview. So, Friday, we do have 3 games. Ranked number 20 in the nation, Washington State, playing on Friday night in Houston, okay, in Millan's town, right? Great place. We have an inner Pennsylvania State game going on. Unranked Pitt going to number 13, Penn State, and going to Beaver Stadium as a 17-point underdog. Penn State will be a 17-point favorite at home, as they should be. Pitt is not a great team. They barely squeaked by Ohio, who's not very good, and they lost to Virginia. So they're not a very good team. Penn State should win. Ohio State, number 6 ranked Ohio State, will be going to Indiana. It's the 12 o'clock Fox game. Ohio State should win. They're favored by 16 on the road. Locally, here in Philadelphia, number 21 ranked Maryland will be going to the Link to take on Temple. Maryland is a 7-point favorite right now. Number 2 ranked Alabama goes to South Carolina. Number 17 ranked UCF hosts Stanford. Number 24 ranked USC goes to BYU. Number 18 ranked Michigan State hosts Arizona State, 4 o'clock Fox game. And Millan's team, Iowa State, hosts Iowa. Iowa, number 19 ranked Iowa, who's 2-point favorite right now. Iowa State is really only not in the rankings because they didn't play last week. They had a week 2 bye, and that's the only reason they really fell out of the standings. So maybe Millan will cover that a little bit. Probably not much, but maybe. Number one, Clemson. Number one ranked Clemson, a 28-point favorite on the road at formerly ranked Syracuse. Again, number 4 LSU is hosting Northwestern State. Number 23 Washington hosting Hawaii. Number 25 Virginia hosting Florida State. Number 5 Oklahoma traveling to UCLA. Number 12 Texas traveling to Rice in Houston. Number 22 Boise State hosting Portland State. And finally, the nightcap at 11 p.m. Number 15 Oregon hosting Montana.
Yeah, I mean that does it. I mean for the Iowa State Iowa game, it's always a big game. Whenever it doesn't matter what sport, it's always going to be packed. It's always going to be a sold out game. The college game day crew will be there. I think Iowa has a huge. Or they've always had somehow a victory over us, no matter if it's home, if it's away. Last year on September 8th, they beat us 13-3. We've never looked very good against Iowa in any sport. Basketball, you could arguably say we looked better with them. But I think this year is different. I think we're gonna have, since the game day is gonna be here. This game is already sold out. Everyone's gonna be dressed up in their crimson red and all that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if we've had a week to after that embarrassing Northern Iowa game. Even though we got the win, it was still like dicey. And so with this bye week, can see Iowa State maybe edging out. It won't be easy. It'll be a close game, but it will probably be one of the better games in college football this week.
Yeah, it definitely should be, considering it is the college game day, and I mean it's in a pretty prime time slot, 4 o'clock. I mean it's a good time for most, so it
Yeah.
should be a fun game to watch.
Moving on to the NFL, we're going to start off with the recap of last night. Nick, your Green Bay Packers went to Chicago Thursday Night Football to open up the season. Nick, how about you talk about with the Packers in that game?
Yeah, that was a terrible game, honestly. I mean, I was emotionally attached to the game, being a Packers fan. But if you weren't a Packers or Bears fan, I honestly don't know how you could have sat there and watched that game. That was a terrible game, 10-3. Okay, who the hell wants to watch 10-3 football? But the Packers, they squeaked out a win. And let me be honest with you, the Packers won because Mitchell Trubisky is terrible. Mitchell Trubisky is terrible. Okay, he's atrocious. He had a few nice plays, I will admit. He had a few nice throws downfield, but he's not a very good quarterback. And, okay, this is a team. They made him throw the ball 40 times. That is terrible play calling by Matt Nagy and whoever the offensive coordinator is, who I could not name for you at the moment. That is terrible play calling. Mitchell Trubisky is not that good of a quarterback to be throwing the ball 40 times a game. You have a great running game with David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen, and you have a phenomenal defense. But Chicago, out of the 3 elements of football, or I guess there's 4 special teams, which they also have a big time trouble with kicking. They have a big trouble with that. The double doink, we all remember. It's hilarious. But the point is, the Packers won because of bad play calling. You have a great defense, a great running game, a passing specialty. Run the damn ball. If they had ran the ball, they would have won this game. Green Bay's offense was horrendous in this game. It was bad. It wasn't that the offense was necessarily that bad. They had one good drive. It's bad. They had 2 good plays. And the touchdown, it wasn't the greatest play. I was a little scared. Rodgers kind of like throws it up there, and Jimmy Graham barely gets it. But so even the touchdown wasn't great. They had one great play, and the rest of the game was kind of boring, honestly. Both sides. But again, I guess the Packers won. But to me, it's more like the Bears lost. This doesn't feel like the Packers won to me. The Bears lost, okay? They have a bad quarterback. They have a great defense, a great running game. They didn't utilize that great running game the way they should have. Instead, they tried to think they believed that Trubisky was a great quarterback, which he is not. He is not an upper-tier quarterback in this league. He's not even probably in the top 20 quarterbacks in this league. He's not good at all. The Bears are still going to win, 9, 10 games this year. But they're not going to win 9, 10 games because of their passing. They're going to win 9, 10 games because they're going to realize, we got to run the ball. And that defense is going to beat some of these bad teams they get to play. They get to play the Broncos. They get to play the Redskins. They get to play the Raiders. They get to play the Lions twice. They get to play the Giants. They get to play – that's about it. That's about it, right? But you get to play the Lions twice. That's 2 wins, right? If you lose to the Lions, that is on you. You cannot lose to the Lions. That's on you. You got to beat the Lions twice if you're the Bears. You got to beat the Giants. And you got to beat the Redskins. And you got to beat the Raiders. And you got to beat the Broncos. Those are like the – the 6 games they should automatically win. That puts them at 6-10. And again, I think they could still beat some other teams. I think they could split with the Vikings. That puts you at 7-9. Again, the Vikings aren't great, but neither are the Bears, honestly. I don't know. Maybe the Bears win in Lambeau. I don't think they're going to win Lambeau personally, but they could. They probably should beat the Cowboys at home. Again, that's puts you at 8-8, and I don't know. They'll probably win at home versus the Chargers or the Saints. Again, I think the Bears are 9-7, which is probably good enough for third place in this division. Sadly, I mean the Vikings played phenomenal, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, Packers get to play the Vikings at home this week. They should win. I'm hoping the offense figures it out. It was a rough offensive night. Um, Great defensive night, though. And people are saying, oh, Mr. Trubisky is a terrible quarterback. No, Green Bay has focused on defense the last 2 years, and it's paying off in dividends, okay? So don't just say because they faced a bad quarterback. I don't think that Kirk Cousins is going to go out there and play like he did versus Atlanta against Green Bay. He's going to have a rough time. Green Bay has built their defense in the draft and free agency, and it's paying in dividends again. So
Yeah. So that's Thursday Night Football, and I personally didn't watch Thursday Night Football, not because I didn't want to see it, just had a lot of homework. We'll move on to the Sunday games at 1 o'clock. The Eagles edged out the Redskins 32-27, and Nick, I'm going to be honest with you. I was watching Red Zone, and I was texting my uncle, who's a huge, huge diehard Eagles fan, and I was talking crap to him because I thought that game was out of hand easily with the Redskins taking a really early lead, but the second half, it was all Eagles.
yeah, I'm telling you, living here in Philly, first half was kind of, it was obviously very bad. It was 17-3. But it was the end of the first quarter, right? And I just kind of gotten up like an hour before 1 o'clock. So it was like 12. And I just gotten up. So I was kind of saying, you know what? I'm going to get outside and take a nice little walk. So I take a walk, right? And you just hear, you pass every restaurant, bar. It's just like, fuck. So I can tell, okay, you guys are not doing well against the Redskins. I was like, that's not good. But they bounced back. They had a great second half, and they won that game 32-27. Again, the Eagles probably should have lost this game. I'm not going to lie. Because at the beginning of the second half, Case Keenum had a wide receiver open downfield, and he overthrew him by 10 yards. If he hits his receiver, that's a touchdown, and the Redskins would have won this game 34-32. Eagles need to watch out, okay? They're playing a good Falcons team that's hungry for revenge after they just lost to the Vikings. I don't know. And the Eagles are still going to win this division probably because, again, I can't really evaluate the Cowboys off the game versus the Giants. I can't evaluate anybody off the game versus the Giants. But here's what I can evaluate off. If you struggle against the Redskins, I know you're not a good team. I know you're not a great team. I still think the Eagles are probably the 5th or 6th best team in the league, though, because that second half was phenomenal. Deshaun Jackson was a great pickup by the Eagles in the offseason, and Carson Wentz is playing like 2017, which is very good. And that O-line found their swagger in the second half.
Yeah, and you have to think this is the first game of the season, so you have to have some type of nervous like jitters and sloppy play, and that could easily have been the Eagles. That could have been their first half jitters, and they got into the half when they went to half, and they were like, "All right, we need to step this up. We're down 20-7. Let's go and let's play a phenomenal second half," which they did. And they only gave up a touchdown in the second half, which, I mean, not bad for the Eagles. Moving on, though, the Jets and the Bills in a scrappy game. The Bills edged out the Jets 17-16, and that one is a 16-point comeback in the Bills, largest since 2011. That one for me was kind of an interesting game. I thought the Jets have this one going into this game. You have Sam Darnold, you have Le'Veon Bell, you have these new guys. This team is rebuilding, and they just couldn't get the job done.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I mean, the Jets, again, had that 16-point lead, and then Josh Allen throws the touchdown with 3 minutes to go, and the Bills take the lead. Jets can't do anything. I mean, Sam Darnold didn't have the worst game. 29 of 40.
Yeah.
29 of 41, 175 yards, and a touchdown. It's a pretty good game from Sam Darnold. No picks. Le'Veon Bell had 17 carries, 60 yards, which, again, for his first game in a year and a half, is very good. Okay, 60 yards. And he did have a receiving touchdown. But, that was a rough game for the Jets, and they have to face the Browns this week, which I'm actually quite excited for this Monday night game because it's gonna be interesting because the Browns, which we'll get to them in a second, they struggled week 1, and then the Jets, who also struggled week 1. Two teams came into the year with high expectations, struggled week 1. So how are they going to rebound on Monday Night Football this upcoming Monday? So that should be a very good game, Jets-Browns. But yeah, I was quite surprised that the Jets ended up losing this game. With that 40-yard touchdown 3 minutes to go from the Bills.
Now, moving on to another Sunday night game, Vikings and Falcons. Vikings easily handling the Falcons 28-12. Dalvin Cook had 2 rushing touchdowns. That's tied for the most in his career. Nick, Are you? I will. No, I'm not gonna ask this question because I was gonna say, are you a little bit worried about the Vikings? But I'm gonna probably have you talk about Kirk Cousins because we all know, anyone's been following football, we all know the difference between when the sun's up, Kirk Cousins, and when the sun is down, and all eyes are on Kirk Cousins. The difference between them. But honestly, this whole team actually looked pretty good. And I know this is Sunday, and this is Sunday at 1 o'clock, but his stats weren't terribly bad. Well,
They
no,
weren't. They
they were
weren't
all pretty,
terribly.
but they weren't good.
They weren't terribly bad because they didn't utilize him a lot.
Yeah.
He went 8 for 10 with 98 yards and a touchdown. 8 for 10 is nothing. 10 passes in a game, dude. That's averaging. You're averaging less than. I mean, that's like 2.5 throws per quarter. That's nothing, dude. Like, you get some fucking balls. Okay, Matt Ryan threw 46 attempted 46 passes. Okay, he had 2 picks and he had a fumble. But whatever, you know. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think you can't evaluate anybody off 10 fucking throws. I don't know. It's not. Here's another thing with the Vikings. The Packers just beat the Bears, and the Bears defense is better than the Vikings in my opinion. Because I watched this Vikings game. Okay, I actually did. I watched it pretty thoroughly because I knew that Minnesota was our opponent next week. It's not that I'm not afraid of Minnesota, but Atlanta, in my opinion, we have a better defense than Atlanta. And if they can't throw the ball, that's gonna be a problem. Okay, because the Packers are just gonna start. They're gonna play strong run defense if they know that's all you're gonna do. Dalvin Cook, 21 carries. Okay, if we know that you're just gonna run the ball, which is kind of what it seems they're doing, they're gonna be a run-oriented team. Well, if that's what you're gonna do, guess what? Then the Packers are gonna really dig into that. Everybody keeps talking about how Rodgers and LaFleur, they don't like each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit. I mean, we noticed that after the game. Rodgers, he hands the ball to LaFleur. He's like, I'm going to do you better next time. He's like, not every day you get your first win as a coach in the NFL. And I honestly think that's how the relationship is. I honestly think they have a good relationship. And in my opinion, they have the best relationship in the NFC North when it comes to quarterbacks and coaches. Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer. Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer don't have a good relationship. Here's why. Kirk Cousins is an average quarterback. Overpaid average quarterback. And Mike Zimmer is like 60 years old. He's been coaching his whole life. He had a first head coaching job. He wants to get that Super Bowl, and Kirk Cousins is blocking his road to the Super Bowl. Same with Mitch Trubisky and Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is probably one of the best, if not, the second or third best offensive mind in the game. He transforms talent. He is insane. Mitchell Trubisky this is the best. This is the best of the best of Mitchell Trubisky. This is the best Mitchell Trubisky can be. This is the peak of Mitchell Trubisky yet. Okay? Matt Nagy is like one of the greatest offensive minds ever. So you can tell this is the peak of Mitchell Trubisky. So Matt Nagy does not. I'm telling you, Matt Nagy doesn't want Mitchell Trubisky. He wants to get rid of him. He wants to get a new quarterback. And Matt Patricia and Matt Stafford, it's the Lions. First off, it's the Lions. Okay, they choked to the Cardinals. But also, Matt Patricia knows he's the heir of. Or he's not the heir, but he is of the Belichick coaching tree. So if he fails in Detroit, he'll never get another job because everybody will just think he's another one of Belichick's failures. In my opinion, LaFleur and Rodgers had the best relationship in the North.
Yeah, I can see that. Moving on to the next game that we have on the schedule. Hold on, I'm pulling that one up. Ravens and the Dolphins. Ravens had 59 points, most in team history. Nick, you said in the beginning when we were doing when we were doing the NFL the whole season review, you said that this Ravens team is not going to be successful because Lamar Jackson is not accurate. Do you want to change that a little bit because
no,
you still
I don't.
okay?
Because here's the thing, it's not okay. And after the game, he said those are good stats for a running back. You know what? Those are pretty average stats for someone who's playing the worst team in the league. He's playing a high school team. Okay. He went 17 for 23 on 24 yards. Okay, that's nice. But I'm not going to evaluate this man until he plays someone real. Okay, Cardinals, not real. They tied the Lions. They shouldn't have. He plays the Chiefs. Sunday, September 22nd, my birthday, he plays the Chiefs. Then he plays the Browns. Then he plays the Steelers. Okay? Oh, then he gets a little break with the Bengals. Then he plays the Seahawks. Then he plays the Patriots. Oh, little break. Then he plays the Texans. Then he plays the Rams. Then he plays the 49ers. Okay? I want him to play real teams. Okay, not the Cardinals, not the Dolphins. Play the Chiefs, buddy. Let's see what you do versus the Chiefs. Let's see what you do at Heinz Field. Let's see what you do versus the Browns. Let's see what you do in Seattle, the loudest stadium in football. Let's see what you do versus the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. Okay. The Dolphins, Congratulations, you beat the Dolphins. Guess what? The Patriots. No, I can't wait to see what the Patriots. The over/under for the Patriots game could literally just be over/under for the Patriots. It could literally just be over/under how many points the Patriots score. It could be like 70 points. The Patriots are gonna. It's gonna look like Alabama playing a high school team. Like if you know, like when Alabama plays the Cupcakes, that's what it's gonna look like. The Patriots scheduled the Cupcake on their schedule. They scheduled the Dolphins. They scheduled them twice too. The Patriots, they really play. They really like the Cupcakes. I mean, how many whoever plays the Dolphins is scheduling Cupcakes?
Yep. And Fitzpatrick didn't play that bad. 14 for 29, 185 yards, one touchdown, one interception. While Lamar Jackson, 17 for 20, 324 yards, five touchdowns, no interceptions. They had to put RG3 in there, 6 for 6, 55 yards, and one touchdown, which is not bad. Team stats, though, I mean, it's all Baltimore at that point. But yeah, moving on to probably the most scrappy game I've seen. And a lot of injuries in this game with the Chiefs easily handling Jacksonville 40-26. Wide receiver for the Chiefs, Sammy Watkins, has a career high 3 receiving touchdowns. And me, as a great fantasy owner that I am, I benched Sammy Watkins in 2 of my leagues, both of which, after the game of the Chiefs, I was losing around 100, no, around 75 by 75 points when I benched him. So that's my luck.
I had a good week in fantasy. I'm not gonna lie. I lost the one game, but I only lost by 9 points, and the Denver defense screwed me. Okay, so I'm not too mad at that. And then in my other league, my non-money league, see what I did over there. I won. I won 108. I won 128-71.
Yeah.
So I'm having a good time in fantasy right now. But we'll see how that progresses as the season goes on.
Yeah. So in the game though, Nick Foles started the game. He had to leave due to a shoulder injury. Gardner Minshew, the second, set a franchise record for the most passing yards, 275 by a rookie, to not start the game. Not Jacksonville. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs threw a touchdown pass against for the first time in his career. The Jags were the only opponent to allow 0 touchdown passes for him in 2018. Mahomes is 4-0 career against teams to finish with the top 5 total defense, which is actually pretty good. Sammy Watkins against 46.8 fantasy points. So any fantasy team owners that didn't start him, I feel your pain. Since Andy Reid, since becoming the head coach in 2016, he has a 6-1 record in Week 1. Over the last 30 seasons, the reigning MVP quarterbacks are now 17-6. Fournette lost his first fumble since 2016 when he was at LSU. That's approximately 1,030 days since he lost his last fumble. So that was a pretty handily good Chiefs. And we're going to talk about this later between the Chiefs and the Patriots. But this was a scrappy game. Patrick Mahomes had to leave the game for a little bit. They were just taking cheap shots at back and forth, probably because of the injury from Foles. I did see some people get ejected from this game. Nick, did you see this game at all?
I saw some of it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was kind of surprised because the Jags were up early on the Chiefs. I mean, maybe they weren't up, but they were very closer than I would have assumed early. And I think if Nick Foles had stayed in this game, the Jags may have won. Like, I honestly feel bad. Nick Foles, from what I saw, looked very good versus the Chiefs. I honestly think if Nick Foles had stayed healthy, again, he'll probably be back by week 12, week 13, if they're still in the race, which they could be. The AFC South is going to be a miserable division. But I think that he would have what I'm trying to say is I think Nick Foles finally found a place not named Philadelphia where he could succeed, and I feel bad that he got injured because he was looking like he was going to do very good.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to do well. But depending on how the surgery goes, obviously, I think that was yesterday, and I mean this could be an open division. I think the Jags do have a chance in the South, based on what I've seen. But moving on to the South, not to the South, to the next game, Titans and the Browns. Nick, you said the Browns are going to win this division back when we first did the podcast. They lost 43-13, and the Browns have not won a Week 1 game since 2014. Do you still believe that this Browns team is going to get better?
Yes, I still think, okay, from what I saw from the other two teams, well, okay, again, I can't tell you about the Ravens because they haven't played anybody yet. They had a bye last week, so they had a Week 1 bye. It was kind of insane. But the Steelers, what I saw from them, was terrible. fucking atrocious. So, what I would say is that the Browns are not out of it. Okay, they lost in week 1. Okay, they haven't played a real game in 8 months. So, I still think the Browns are in it. They had a very rough game versus the Titans. That was atrocious. Okay, 43-13. That's terrible. The Titans are not a great team. Baker Mayfield 3 interceptions. Right, not a good game from Baker. But I still think the Browns are going to rebound. I said the whole time, Browns are going to have a rough start to the season, okay? But after that Patriots game on October 27th, you get the Broncos, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Steelers. You know, the Steelers are terrible, so I wouldn't consider that an easy game. I would consider that a pretty easy game. Bengals, Cardinals, Bengals, right? So the Browns have a relatively easy schedule after the Patriots game, right? So that's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. And I believe the Patriots game's in week 8. So after week 8, though, look out. The Browns are gonna be scared. After week 8. Right now, hey, they could start the year 0-8. They'll go 8-8. That'd be like the greatest year in Cleveland Browns history, right?
Moving on to the next game, Rams and the Panthers. Running back Michael Brown for Los Angeles has career high 2 touchdown rushing. The Rams did win 30-27. This was a pretty closer game than I thought. The Rams didn't play their best, considering that they're coming off of a Super Bowl loss.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, a lot of people going into this game told me, "Yo, look at I think the Panthers might win. Rams coming up from the West Coast, blah blah blah." But I wasn't expecting that personally. I thought the Rams were going to I thought they were going to win pretty easily, and they did. The Rams struggled at Carolina. Christian McCaffrey, if you picked him up in your fantasy league, you are set. You should not lose a single game. This man put up 46 points in Yahoo Fantasy last week. Okay, 46, right? I played this guy. He put up 139 points. This guy put up almost 1/3 of this guy's points. Okay, if you have Christian McCaffrey and you lose a game, your team sucks. You are a terrible manager if you have Christian McCaffrey and you actually lose a game. But yeah, point is, I was surprised how close it was, but Rams still have to squeak out here with a win. Again, none of those guys played in the preseason, so this is their first game in a while.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that, for me, I like the Rams and what they're doing. Do I think they're going to be the best? This is going to be a really tough NFC team, so they're going to obviously have to step up. They're in a pretty easy division, so I don't see why they can't win their division. But still, it's going to be a really. They could easily get the 3. They could get the 2. So that'll be fun to watch. But one of their teams, and the reason why I wouldn't be worried is because the Seattle Mariners, not the Mariners, my God, the Seattle Seahawks barely edged out the Cincinnati Bengals 21-20. Andy Dalton passing for a career high 418 yards and 1 loss. Just proves, well, what does this prove for the Seahawks?
I don't know. I feel like this almost proved maybe this is the end of the run. Maybe this is it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's actually time to start rebuilding. We've been saying it for like 3 years now, but maybe you actually need to start rebuilding. Okay, we'll see. They go to Pittsburgh this week, and they got to play the Saints. So they don't have an easy schedule. Okay, you got to play the Steelers, Saints, Rams twice, Browns, Falcons, Ravens, who are supposed to be amazing, but I don't know. Eagles, Vikings, Panthers. So this is not an easy schedule. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, the Seahawks are not going to have a great year. If you can barely beat the Bengals, either this means that the AFC North just got a lot harder if the Bengals are as good, or it means the Seahawks are just
terrible.
not great.
And we'll figure it out next week when the Seahawks play the Steelers. Just a quick insight: DK Metcalf, 89 receiving yards, are the most by a Seahawks rookie in a rookie debut. Josh Ross III had 7 receptions, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Seahawks are now 5-0, a perfect 5-0 when they have 5 or more sacks, which is very, very lenient. There's a couple of them that I personally thought shouldn't have been sacks, but due to some penalties. But moving on, Colts and the Chargers. Colts surprisingly looked pretty good. I thought they were done for. They did lose in, I think they lost in overtime. 30-24 to the Chargers. Running back for the Chargers, Austin Eckler, the game-winning 7-yard touchdown. In OT, well, this was a good comeback because I honestly thought this game was over. They had to score 8. They had to shut out the Chargers in the last. They outscored the Chargers in the second half, 18-7. But then obviously lost the coin toss and lost the game by a touchdown.
Oh yeah, Adam Vinatieri shanked a few kicks in his game
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
So that was kind of surprising. Adam Vinatieri been in the league for God knows how many years, probably 25 years. Um,
To see that
and
is just very surprising.
yeah, it's very rare. Maybe it's time for Adam Vinatieri to hang up the cleats, but who knows? He's been in the league for so long. Um, but anyway, this was kind of surprising that the Colts kept it this close. I don't know. Again, it's week 1, so I don't know what this means. Like just like in the Seahawks Bengals, I don't know if this means the Seahawks are that bad or if the Bengals are this good. I don't know if this means the Colts are as good or the Chargers aren't as good as we thought. I don't think it's really either. I don't know. Maybe Jacoby Brissett's actually like a great quarterback because he went 21 for 27 with 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then again, Philip Rivers had a great game. 25-34, 333 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. I mean, that's a great game, right? And Austin Eckler for the Chargers, the running back, looks great. 12 carries, 58 yards, but 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he scored 3 touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns, 1 running touchdown. So I still think the Chargers are the second best team. Well, no. Sorry, the Patriots have just loaded up, and they're going to get Gronk back any minute. So, sorry.
Week 7, I think it was it week 12? I
Yeah,
think he said week
right.
12.
Chargers are the third best team in the AFC, in my opinion, still. Again, we'll see if Antonio Brown gets suspended, because breaking news, guys, he's being accused of rape right now. He's denying it, obviously, but he's being accused of rape right now. We'll see if there's any truth to it. If there is, we'll see if there's any repercussions from the NFL. But anyway, Chargers won. I still think they're going to be a good team this year. I think this was just getting the rust off.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. That's what week 1 is. The next game is going into the 4 o'clock games now. 49ers outplayed the Buccaneers, winning 31-17. 49ers defense, 3 interceptions, 2 total interceptions. They only had 2 total interceptions in 2018. So that's big if you're a 49ers fan. Jimmy Garoppolo did play well. I know he's playing on the East Coast, but he played well. He had 18 for 27, 166, one touchdown, 1 interception. Opposed to famous Jameis, 120 to 36, 194, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Is this my question for you, Nick? And I know it's week 1, but is this San Francisco team, for what you saw, are they contenders or are they pretenders?
I really don't know, because Tampa does have a good defense. So putting up 31 points, that was impressive. But famous James, I don't know how this man stole the job in the NFL. First off, not only are his off-the-field problems insane, but he's not good enough to deal with those off-the-field problems. 20-36, 3 picks. 3 picks. Okay? Like, he's not an NFL quarterback. This is his last year, I'm telling you. Tampa's drafting a quarterback with their first-round pick, because I don't see them. I don't see many winnable games in their schedule. I see the winnable games I see. Home versus the Giants. Home versus the Cardinals. At the Jags if there's no Nick Foles. That's 3. At the Lions, you should win at the Dome, so that's not very good deal. 4. Home against the Colts, you should win. That's 5. And okay, so I think the Bucs are going to go like 5-11, and I think that's going to prove to the front office there, we got to get rid of Jameis. We got to find a new face of the franchise, or maybe you tank for Trevor. I don't know who the hell's going to tank for Trevor, because right now we get the Dolphins tanking for Tua. Who's tanking for Trevor? Like, I want to know who's getting Trevor, because like I'm hopping on that bandwagon once they tank for Trevor. Once I find out they're tanking for Trevor, I'm hopping on the bandwagon immediately. So I need to find out who's tanking for Trevor. Unless the Dolphins decide to go like a 2-year rebuild and they get Trevor instead of Tua, we'll see what happens. But right now, I don't know. Maybe Trevor and Tua will play in the same state. Maybe the Bucs will tank next year and get Tua or get Trevor. Maybe they let Jameis get like a farewell tour.
Yeah. And next year's draft is going to be probably the most interesting draft in a very long time, in my opinion. Moving on, though, for the 425 America's game of the week, Cowboys and the Giants.
How the hell is this?
Well,
Who
because
do you
it's the
want?
Cowboys and the Giants. The Cowboys did
That's
win 35-17. Prescott 4 touchdown passes. But then again, it is the Giants, probably one of the worst teams in the NFL this year.
this is what I hate though. Every year, week one, we get the fucking Giants and the Cowboys. Usually it's Sunday night football. This year, Roger Goodell wanted to be a dick to the Patriots and not give them their Thursday game, so he gave them the Sunday game instead. So the Giants Cowboys got kicked out of their usual slot. It's always Patriots almost always Patriots on Thursday night, Giants Cowboys on Sunday night, and like the Packers at Lambeau versus like some primetime NFC team at 425. Always. This year they mixed them all the fuck up. They put the Packers on the road on Thursday. They gave the Patriots the Sunday game, and they gave the Cowboys and the Giants the 425 game. It messed up everybody's schedule for week one, but our 3 games all got mixed up. But yeah. So Cowboys won this game. Again, I feel bad for Saquon. He's honestly just got screwed.
Yeah. I mean, you could have a rebuild. I mean, he went 11 attempts, 120 yards. Eli Manning, 30 for 44, 306, 1 touchdown. Daniel Jones made his debut, 3 for 4, 17 yards, and like a crap ton of fumbles. But Dak Prescott was the third player in franchise history with multiple 400-plus passing games. You know, Tommy Romo, Don Meredith. Eli Manning, 300-plus yards in 3 straight games dating back to last season. Saquon, 100-plus yards. But Eli Manning now is 8-24 record since 2017. Most losses by any QB in that span. So after the 28-yard field goal, though, in the third quarter, Aldic Rosas remains perfect in 5 career games against the Cowboys. So that was cool. But that was interesting. Moving on to the more interesting game, Cardinals and the Lions. This game was a tie, which was...
But it was an interesting tie. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't a boring tie.
They tied 27 at 27. Yeah, it was a very interesting tie.
Yeah, I watched the game at the end. You know, the ending of the game. Because once America's Game of the Week ended, they went over to this. They called it the bonus coverage. But real quick, I want to go back to Giants Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see the Cowboys Eagles game right now, because a lot of my Eagles friends are saying, "Oh yeah, the Cowboys, they suck, man. They're gonna be terrible." But I really want I really want the Cowboys to beat them on Sunday Night Football when they play them in Jerry's World, just to prove to my friends, yo, Cowboys aren't I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I want to prove to my friends, yo, Cowboys aren't bad. See, the Packers aren't gonna lose to them because Aaron Rodgers owns Jerry's World, but when the Eagles get down there, I want the Cowboys to win, just to prove to my friends, yo, Cowboys don't suck, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they have Zeke now. I mean, I know he plays best. He had 13 attempts, 53 yards, and a touchdown, averaging 4.1 yards a carry. But still, that helps a lot. Because imagine if they didn't have Zeke, I would easily hand this division over to the Eagles.
Oh yeah, totally. It wouldn't even be close. But back to the Lions Cardinals. Yeah, Kyler Murray, for someone who's 5'10", was very clutch in the last 6 minutes of this ball game and overtime. Well, not really overtime. The last 6 minutes of regulation, when they made that comeback, they were down by 16 with I forget how much time. But I believe they were down by 16 going into the fourth quarter, or with maybe 12 minutes, maybe 6 minutes ago. Yeah, 6 minutes ago in the fourth quarter, they were down by 16, and they made this comeback. And I was very impressed. They both got field goals in the OT, but I was Detroit. I'm looking at my ESPN probability thing. Had a very high probability of winning, a 99.9% chance of winning, and it dipped down real quick. But yeah, I was very impressed. They were down 24-6 with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They got a field goal, a 30-yard touchdown pass, and then a 5-yard touchdown pass with a 2-point conversion, and then 2 field goals in the overtime to tie it back up.
And I'm going to go off this. People may not think a tie is the worst thing in the world. This could make or break the season. I'm not saying, because the Lions are probably not going to make the playoffs, and the Cardinals are going to have to really push for them to make a postseason run. But a tie could really help, because instead of having a win in that column and making you 1 game closer, or potentially even winning a division, you have a tie. So, I mean, that's what hurt the Steelers season last year. We tied the Browns first game of the year. If we would have won that game, we would have been tied with the Patriots at the same record, and we would have beaten them, so we had the tiebreaker over the Patriots then. I'm happy that we didn't make the playoffs, though, because we would have been embarrassed. But speaking of the Steelers and the Patriots, the Steelers have to go into one of the hardest atmospheres I have that any football team would ever have to do. A Sunday night, banner night in New England from Foxborough.
Excuses.
They got utterly destroyed, 33-3. It's the first time since they played the Eagles that they scored 3 points. Um,
Okay, I remember that game. It's funny.
and they had New England. Okay, there's a lot of things I would like to say about this Pittsburgh team. Um, Nick, we were texting this game after the game. The Steelers' offensive play calling was terrible, and what I was realizing is how did Pittsburgh win last year against New England? They're doing a lot of counters with Samuels, and they're doing a lot of run plays with Samuels. They didn't have James Connors, so they used Jalen Samuels, and they beat him with the run. What you need to learn with New England is you can't beat them at your own game twice. It won't happen. You will never beat New England twice doing the same thing. When they tried to do that, they tried to be hard, tried to put your ball inside. So what did New England do? We stacked the box. All right, fine. Let's try to throw the ball. Number one, what New England does best is they take away your two best players. And Pittsburgh had to recognize that. All right, well, obviously going to take away Juju Smith. And then they're going to take away James Conner. That's what they did because he played absolutely terrible in this game. He only had 21 yards. All right, so you take away Connor and you take away Juju. So you have Jalen Samuels. He only had 4 rushing yards, all right, and 2 attempts. So if you take away Juju, who do you have left to pass to? You have Washington, you have Vance McDonald, Ryan Switzer, Deontay Johnson, Dontre Moncrief, Johnny Holton. These guys, if Pittsburgh wants to make it far in the playoffs or win the Super Bowl, these guys are going to have to step up. And this is a perfect example of a possible playoff type atmosphere that they will face. And what did Pittsburgh show? They just showed that they're not capable enough yet to have these guys step up. Because when they're playing good teams, their best players are going to get double coverage. Moncrief didn't step up. Johnny Holton dropped 2 fourth down passes, one of which was very easy. One of them was pretty hard. James Washington did not do well at all. So it's this for me. It's sad for Pittsburgh to see that this is a process. We going into this season, I was very excited for this Pittsburgh team, and now we're back at square one where we're gonna have to reassess. These guys are gonna have to gain experience. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm not gonna get on our defense. Tom Brady just played absolutely amazing. They spread the ball well. I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched the whole game. I don't think he threw the ball to 2 players consecutive on one drive. He spread the ball out. They don't have Gronk. They don't have Antonio Brown. So if Antonio Brown comes back, this team's gonna be one of the best offenses I've seen. But this Tom Brady defense, they went fast. They switched. Pittsburgh had a hard time controlling the defense. They double teamed Watt. They double teamed Bush. So you take the 2 best defensive players out, and now what do you have? Just a normal defense. And Tom Brady took advantage of that. We didn't even go zone. We went hardcore up defense, and you just take away. And that shows how vulnerable Pittsburgh is. And this is why we're gonna have to get better. Luckily, we're gonna have an easier schedule. We don't have to play a first place schedule. We don't have to play the Chiefs, but we do have to play the Rams. We do have to play the Chargers. So, and these are playoff type teams. So, as of now, I am not confident in Pittsburgh going far in this playoffs. Do I think they'll still win the division? I do. I don't want to say I do yet. I want to see how the Ravens do. But I still have confidence in Pittsburgh figuring this stuff out. And I think the Seahawks are going to be a good chance for them to figure out, all right, what type of team are them? Because if they lose to the Seahawks at home on their home opener, we might as well just wait out the month. October 2nd comes and we turn to Penguins hockey. And we hope to God that they do well because this is going to be a long year for the Steelers. But in all fairness, Chris Boswell didn't miss a field goal. I'm just going to say that. He missed his only field goal of the game. So that's probably the only plus that came out of this, in my opinion.
Not really. I mean, you're supposed to make your field goals, and yeah, Steelers were terrible. Man, this was sad. You know the funny thing I found about this whole Patriots takes away your 2 biggest targets. If you took away the Patriots' 2 biggest targets, they still have another target. It's the greatest thing ever. If you took away AB and Edelman, or AB and Gordon, you still have Edelman. Or if you take away AB and Edelman, you still have Gordon. You take away Gordon and Edelman, they still have AB. It's hilarious. And they still have James White, don't forget. The Patriots have stacked themselves in skill positions, so you can't take away their biggest threat because then you run out of options. And then they just... Patriots destroyed. Patriots are going to run through their division. They're going to go 6-0 in their division. They beat the Steelers. They're going to beat the Redskins. They get to play the Redskins. It's unfair. They get to play the Giants. They're going to beat them. Home against the Browns. They're going to win. Maybe Sunday Night Football in Baltimore. It may be like tough, but like tough in quotation.
Where's the game at?
In Baltimore. They should win it. The only game on their schedule that I see them losing, honest to God, is the game in Philly. because you got to go to Philly. If that game's at home, they win.
They do play the
If they
Chiefs though too.
at home, at
Oh
home.
yeah, okay. So Patty Mahomes is not ready for that, and we showed that last year.
425 CBS game, home win. At the Texans, no, we just saw last night what the Texans do. They don't win in the prime time. Last night was hilarious. Don't use the prevent defense. How many times do I have to tell the defense coordinators? Do not use the prevent defense. Do not use the 3-man up. It doesn't work. Prevent only prevents you from winning, as we saw last night. Okay. Cowboys, tough game at home. They got everybody at home, okay? They're not going to lose these games at home. Texans are tough, but it's on the road, and the Texans proved last night they can't win games. They proved yesterday they like to use the prevent defense to just prevent you from winning. Again, only tough game is the game in Philly. Every other game, this team could go 15-1. Can you imagine if this team goes 15-1? They will go 18-1 because if they win that, they're going to breeze through everybody else. And then a neutral site, if they get Philly, they'll beat them. Okay, I'm telling you, Patriots are 18. You know, I'll say it right now. They're a 19-point favorite versus the Dolphins, a 14-point race of favorites versus the Jets, and they should cover both times. And when that line comes out against the Bills, bet it again. 65% of people that lost their parlays bet money on the Steelers. You know why? Because they're retarded. The Patriots were a 6-point favorite at home, and you think they cover versus the Steelers, who've proven in the past they can't win in Foxborough. Tom Brady's never lost a game to the Steelers in Foxborough. Okay.
There's many teams that can't. Foxborough is one of those teams that home field advantage actually works. They don't lose in Foxborough. They went undefeated in Foxborough last year. So it's hard to go in the, especially going in the postseason. You know, I know this.
It's week 1 of the regular season.
No, this is no. This is
none of these motherfuckers have taken a snap since February.
No, this atmosphere we played in, it's banner night. You won your 6 championships. Brady has 6.
Okay,
this is a postseason atmosphere.
No, it's not. The banner night is like any other day for them now. They fucking celebrate banner night. It's a fucking holiday. It's like Christmas. But it happens every year now. The banner night is a regular game for them. They don't give a shit. Other teams, when they have banner night, it's a big deal. The Patriots have banner night. It's like a normal game. It's like playing the Dolphins at 1 o'clock. They don't care. It's a normal game for them.
More people showed up to this game than they did against the Chargers in the playoffs in the division round. This game was sold out. That one wasn't.
Yeah, because it's opening day, not because it's banner. I'm telling you, the banner, they don't care. They get those. The banner is a normal thing now. The banner is like when you know how like teams retire jersey numbers.
Yeah.
The banner is like them retiring the number. It brings out a few extra people, but it doesn't make that.
It's still night. It's still prime time and it's still opening night. So that has to play in something. It's Fox. No one. You just don't lose in Foxborough. It's impossible.
But
One of the impossible.
To be fair, if you could pick a time to go to Foxborough at night, it would be the first game. It'd be early in the season because then it's not going to be fucking minus 20 degrees outside. Would you rather go into Foxborough when it's blistering cold in December, or would you rather go into Foxborough when it's like 50 degrees out?
I think you got to play what you got to play. The weather will play a factor, but it's the same for both teams. And if you're Pittsburgh, you're also used to that weather too. But it's just something you have to admit though. It's something about Foxborough. They haven't lost a postseason game until like the Ravens at the AFC Championship game. I think honestly that was the last time they lost.
I was telling you, the Patriots are going to breeze through the AFC, and the Steelers are taking excuses. I'm telling you, Steelers are going to go 8-8. I'm calling it right the fuck now. I told Millan this the other day. Steelers going 8-8. They look terrible. Juju does not look like a number 1 receiver.
I don't think he's. Well, no, that's because he got double teamed, so they didn't throw to him.
Doesn't matter. Devontae Adams is getting triple teamed versus the Bears, and the Bears have better defense, by the way. So I don't think it's bullshit. The 3 points versus the Patriots. Oh, okay. I'm using your own line on you. Packers went into Chicago, and it was like 100. Oh yeah, it was 100 season for the Bears. You know, it was like the equivalent of banner night. And it was opening night, and it was a Thursday night. It was the opening game for the whole league. Tickets were going. In the middle of this ticket was going for to sit in the very top. To get a standing room only ticket was $4,000 in StubHub. Okay, and then the Packers won on the road, biggest rival.
10-3.
10-3. They scored 10 points. Steelers scored 3 points.
I'm just like.
Steelers scored 3 points. Packers scored 10 points. That's 7 more points. 10 minus 3 is 7. By the way, good enough.
I mean, I honestly don't think that the Steelers team was going to lose. I just didn't think they'd lose that by this much.
They lost by 30 points. That's sad. That's an embarrassment to the city of Pittsburgh. They better hope the Penguins don't play like they did last year.
No.
Penguins actually
I have no idea how the Bengals are going to play this year. I haven't really been focused up on hockey. But we'll talk about that later, though. Saints, Texas, Monday night. We're going to move on quickly because we still also have the next week, as
We
you
just
see
need
up
to
on the
get to the
screen.
preview on it. We just get to the preview, honestly.
All right, just quickly going over. Saints, Texans. Saints outdid the Texans with the last second field goal, 58-yard field goal. That's Will Lutz's career long, as they won 30-28. And then the Raiders beat the Broncos 24-16. Josh Jacobs for Oakland had 113 scrimmage yards, 2 touchdowns in his NFL debut. Nick, if you have the picture up that I showed you, we're gonna go. You guys see up on the screen here. We're gonna go through this week's Week 2 predictions. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, Tampa Bay going to Carolina. Nick, I don't know about you, but I'm giving this game to Carolina.
Yeah, I'm also giving this game to Carolina. I like Carolina because I don't. Again, I told you, Jameis Winston is not an NFL quarterback in my opinion. I think Cam Newton is also not a great quarterback in my opinion, but I think being home Thursday Night Football, both teams are going to be fatigued. But I think it comes down when your both teams are fatigued, it comes down to home field and talent, and the Panthers have the advantage in both. I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. I'm gonna go with 17-14. I'm gonna go with 2014 Panthers.
I'm gonna go 31-10 Panthers. Moving on, San Francisco at Cincinnati, the 1 o'clock game. I'm going San Francisco 28-21. No, 28,
Yeah.
28-17.
You have a reason for that?
Well, obviously it's the Bengals. They got lucky. I mean, obviously they could be really good, like you said, or they could be really bad. And the Seahawks had a really bad game. San Francisco, I feel like they're going to be a lot better now. Jimmy G's finally rolling around. They do play on the they are playing on the East Coast, but they did play on the East Coast against Tampa Bay. I'm giving this one to San Francisco. I don't see any reason why they can't win this game.
I'm actually going to go with Cincinnati, 24-17. Andy Dalton threw 420 yards. You got 2 scores, a 1-point loss in Seattle. And San Francisco won't have Tevin Coleman. He's dealing with the left ankle sprain. So I think Bengals win 24-17.
Chargers at Detroit. That should be an easy one. I'm giving this one to the Chargers, 35-21. Because it's the Chargers and it's Detroit. Detroit didn't have anything to prove. They had to tie the game against Arizona, a team that they could probably win, even for how bad this team is. And the Chargers steamrolled the Colts majority. I know they won in overtime, but still they steamrolled them, in my opinion. I'm giving this one to the Chargers.
I mean, both teams blew big leads in Week 1, but the Chargers were able to hold on. Austin Eckler, big time, 165 all-purpose yards, 3 touchdowns. Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, I think, are going to beat the Lions. They also blew a 17-point lead. I'm going to go 31-21 Chargers.
Minnesota and Green Bay. It's a 1 o'clock game. It's at Green Bay, so this is where you're like, all right, Kirk Cousins, 1 o'clock, he should be fine. Green Bay, I don't know so much. I'm giving this one to Green Bay. I think, Minnesota has, they're rolling with their win against Atlanta. But I don't remember a time that Minnesota has beaten Green Bay in Green Bay. And I think Green Bay is now back. I think Rodgers is finally healthy. They did win in Chicago. Granted, it was only by 7 points, I think, by touchdown. But it was still a win is a win. I'm giving this one to Green Bay. They have the home atmosphere on their side. I'm giving it to them.
I mean, both teams had great defensive performances Week 1. Green Bay's defense obviously bailed out that pretty bad offense. I think Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay offense have a better outing. I think the Packers outplay the Vikings on both sides of the ball. I think the Packers win 21-17.
Indianapolis at Tennessee. I'm giving it to I'm giving it to Tennessee after what they did in Cleveland, and what I saw from Indianapolis. I mean, this could be a very close game, and I probably do think this is going to be a close game. I think Tennessee's going to outdo them just because it's their home field. I'm seeing them winning them 27-24.
I also like the Titans. I like them 24-21. I mean, we all overlooked the Titans last week in Cleveland. I'm not making that same mistake. Let's see if the Titans can put together back-to-back wins. And to do so, they have to beat the Colts team that almost upset the Chargers.
Next game, New England at Miami. So I can be realistic here, or I can go with my gut feeling. Right? Being realistic, saying that New England's going to blow out Miami. My gut feeling is Miami's going to win this game because New England has not won in Miami for the past 4 years. So this is where I'm tough in going. I think if Antonio Brown plays, I think this team's too tough to stop. So I think this is the year that New England finally breaks that losing streak in Miami. I'm giving this one to New England, and I'm saying it's going to be around 45 to about 17.
I think it's safe to say that they aren't going to have the same issues in Miami that they've historically had. I think the Dolphins are going to be a bit more. I think they're going to be a bit more wanting to win after that big loss last week. But the Patriots just destroyed the Steelers at home, so they're going to put on another dominant effort. And it's AB's debut, and while he may not have a typical AB game, I think he's going to do something memorable. I say 5 catches, 70 yards, and a score, and I think they win 49-10.
Um, yeah, Buffalo at the Giants. Another arguably one of the better games here. Buffalo did pull out a 17-16 win at the Meadowlands, and they're going back to the Meadowlands to play the Giants.
Yeah, I want to say they stayed in New York City the whole time.
I would have. I'm giving this one to Buffalo. I don't see anything special with the Giants to see that they can win this game. I'm seeing them. I see Buffalo winning 20-17.
Yeah, I think Bills. Actually, I agree with the 20-17 prediction. Um, the Giants put forth a pretty bad effort in Dallas. The Bills battled back. They upset the Jets at home on the road, and I think Buffalo's going to keep their momentum rolling while staying tied for first place in the AFC.
For now. Moving on, Seattle at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's coming off of an embarrassing loss in New England. Seattle coming off of an embarrassing win at home to the Bengals. This is Pittsburgh's home opener. This gives me, I don't want to say that. I don't want to get yelled at on the air. This gives me stress to talk about Pittsburgh as of right now. Pittsburgh did lose in Seattle at 2014, whenever they last played. But I think this is their home opener. I think Pittsburgh will find a way to win. I don't think it's not Seattle's year. I'm giving this one to Pittsburgh. I'm giving them their first win of the year, and I'm giving it. I was gonna say it's about 24-31.
I'm also giving Pittsburgh their first win of the year, 24-17. Seattle's coming off a pretty close win over the visiting Bengals. The Steelers are looking to rebound. They got embarrassed. Russell Wilson's going to make it a tough game, but I think Pittsburgh's going to find their identity, and they're going to get to 500.
Dallas at Washington. Nick, I think it's safe to say that Dallas is going to steamroll Washington. But, yeah, it's going to steamroll Washington.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cowboys 38, Redskins 21. Dallas had an impressive week 1 showing. A Washington team that made things close in Philly last week. The Redskins are going to fight, but they don't have a run game. They rushed for less than 40 yards against Philly. I think it's going to be one of the bigger reasons why the Cowboys take care of business.
Arizona at Baltimore. This is another team that is easy for Baltimore. I'm not going to say that Lamar Jackson's going to throw 5 touchdown passes like he did, but I expect Baltimore to steamroll Arizona at home in their home opener. I see them winning 35-10.
I think Ravens win 34-17. You got 2 young quarterbacks who were pretty good last week, Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray threw for 310 yards and 2 scores in his career debut. And I think while Murray will fight, he's not going to be a match for this defense. They allowed just 200 yards in their week 1 destroying of Miami.
Jacksonville at Houston. This is going to be a very interesting game for me. I'm giving this one to Houston. Yes, they did lose, and they shouldn't have. They're coming home to a Jacksonville team that doesn't have a quarterback. It's their home opener. I don't see why they can't win this game.
The Jacksonville Houston, right? Okay,
yeah.
So Jags, they let up 50 points in that home opener. They also lost Nick Foles for the foreseeable future. And while Gardner Minshew was pretty solid, was encouraging. I don't see Jacksonville defeating Houston on their home turf. I'm going to go 34-20 Houston.
Going into now the 4 o'clock games, Kansas City at Oakland. Oakland coming off of a pretty impressive win, not really impressive, but pretty good win at home against the Broncos. I see Kansas City still winning this game. I don't see any reason why Kansas City can't beat Oakland. It's in Oakland, but I think Mahomes and the boys are going to roll. I'm giving this one 31-21.
I'm gonna go with and while he won't have Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes is still gonna have enough weapons to light the scoreboard. I'm gonna go Chiefs 41-24.
Chicago at Denver. I'm giving this one to Denver. This is a home opener. Chicago proves that they can't have an offense, and you need offenses to score. You need at least 1 point to win. That's what you need to do. And Chicago did score 3. But in NFL terms, you need at least 3 points to win, and they only could score 3. And if against a pretty good Denver defense at home, I don't see Chicago winning this game at all. I'm giving this one to Denver 27-24.
I'm also giving this one to Denver a much lower scoring game than you, though. I don't think the Bears can put up 24 points. I think that might be the most unrealistic thing the Bears ever do.
Probably.
I think I'm gonna go 14-10. The Bears are coming off a pretty bad effort at home. Vic Fangio is going up against his former team. Chicago probably has the better team, but Denver's a better quarterback. Joe Flacco is somehow better than Mitchell Trubisky. I think Mitchell Trubisky will win his first home game as the Broncos starting quarterback.
New Orleans and the LA Rams. Probably it's a rematch from the AFC Championship game. Wow. New Orleans came off with a lucky win, and LA came off with a pretty convincing win. This is a very tough game for me to pick. I'm going to. I'm giving this one to New Orleans. I feel like they're a good enough team to figure it out, and I'm gonna give this one to New Orleans. It's a close game. I think it's gonna be 31-28.
I'm going with LA at home. I'm going with them 38-31. I mean, this is the best game of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints are motivated, okay? The call. Couldn't stop hearing about it. But they're not going to make up that motivation on Sunday. I think LA wins 38-31.
Philadelphia Atlanta, the Sunday night football game. I'm giving this one to Philadelphia. I don't. Yeah, Atlanta did not look good at all in Minnesota. I'm giving this one to Philadelphia. I think they came off with a lucky win against who they play against the Redskins, but I think they're gonna figure out their stuff. I think the defense is gonna look a lot better, and I'm giving this one to Atlanta. To Philadelphia. Wow, it's too late at night.
I'm also going with Philly. I think the Falcons are going to play well, but Carson Wentz and the Birds are going to make a statement on national TV and keep pace with the Cowboys in the NFC East. Philly's defense is going to have to step up. Malik Jackson, defense tackle, sustained a serious foot injury on Sunday, but I go Eagles 24, Falcons 21.
Then the Monday night game, which is probably one of the better games. Cleveland at the Jets. The Jets did beat Cleveland last time they played. I don't know. I'm gonna give this one to Cleveland. I think they're gonna figure a way out to win. I don't see anything special with the Jets this year. I really don't. I think the Jets will find a way to win a scrappy game. The Browns, not the Jets.
I'm gonna go with the Jets.
Okay.
I think the Browns are gonna fall. I think it's gonna be because of Le'Veon. Le'Veon had a lot of success against the Browns in Pittsburgh. I think he's gonna get his first win as a Jet while reemerging as one of the NFL's best backs. I'm gonna go 24-17 Jets.
I'm giving this one to Cleveland. I mean, the Jets. The reason why Antonio Brown did well is because, not Antonio Brown. Why? Okay, I need to Okay, hold on. The reason why Le'Veon Bell did so well is because when Le'Veon Bell was on the Steelers, they had one of the best offensive lines you could ever ask for. The sacks were an all-time low. They were doing well, but now he's in a completely different offensive line. They're gonna have to adjust to his patient style of running. I think Cleveland needs this win if they want to. Because if they lose, everyone's like, all right, Cleveland, you had your chance, we're done. And I don't think Cleveland wants that. I think Cleveland knows that they're better than what they showed against Tennessee. Giving this one to them. But that wraps up week 2 of the predictions and the preview of week 1. Same thing with college football. October 2nd, hockey starts. I need to get looking into that. Nick and I will make another video of hockey. Playoff baseball is going to start. Over the weekend on Saturday, I did go to the Astros game. Astros and the Mariners with Verlander on the mound coming back from that perfect game. No-hitter in the Blue Jays. So we'll make another video where I'll talk about that because I have a lot of things to say about Minute Maid Park and the game and the teams. So look for that later in the week. And then we still got MLB baseball with the playoffs looking up. Postseason push is getting closer. A lot of teams have dropped out, in my opinion. A lot of teams still have a chance. Magic numbers have come out for each team that needs to win a playoff game. For example, the Yankees need 9 for them to clinch their division, which I can see them easily doing. And right now the Astros...
9 is like 1 for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. That's 2 series sweeps, and they're not playing very good teams. Astros have stormed back, done look a lot better. George Springer hasn't been playing. He had a concussion, so he's going to be back soon. But but that's going to help their offense. And they still have one of the deadliest offenses, in my opinion, and one of the best rotations. But that's for another video. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll get this posted up as soon as possible. We'll see you guys next time.